Welcome to 2 cents short of a dollar, the show where we give our 2 cents and keep it 100. We're your hosts. That's Motiz and I'm Rue. And what we have on the horizon is what some are saying is the best boxing card in boxing history. Headlined by Terrence Bud Crawford. If you have it in front of you, if you could just read it, I don't want to get anything wrong. I think it's Terrence Crawford versus Israel Madrimov, Pitbull versus Rayo. Andy Ruiz versus Big Baby Miller. Andy Cruz is fighting. Hold on, Antonio Moran. David Morrell makes an appearance on the card, and allegedly we may get Tszyu versus Virgil Ortiz. So with that lineup right there, that's ridiculous. Is that the best card you've heard, or that you can think of right now? Obviously, we don't have every single card in front of us.
It might be. It might be. Maybe because of. Yeah, it might be. It might be because just Tszyu, Virgil Ortiz. Oh my God. Then you still got Pitbull and Rayo, big punchers, and then you still got Andy Cruz is up and coming, a really good fight, and then you still got David Morrell, right? So even the icings on the cakes are, still really good fights.
Yeah.
It might be for my, I can't think of another card that's. I mean, someone in the comment section will probably have to kind of let us know, but yeah, I think that might be the best card. At least since I
Nah, it sounds like an amazing card, and it's kind of what everybody I know, because the money and the budget, we can't always get things like this. This is what everybody wants all the time because the money and the budget, a lot of times the way it works, you have a budget, the main event usually takes most of that budget, and you got to see who you can fit in with the rest of the budget. So sometimes it's hard to stack a card like this, but the Saudis are playing with cheat codes of money. You know what I'm saying? It's Grand Theft Auto. You just, cheat code till you max out the money. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this is amazing. It's crazy that these air on the zone. So obviously, Matchroom, I'm guessing, has gotten very well with the Saudis, and I know it's putting pressure on the rest of the boxing world. I heard allegedly Al Heyman may step down. I don't know if you heard that. That's just something I briefly saw. I scrolled past it. I didn't click into it.
So with that, that's interesting you say that, because Floyd was actually on an interview saying that, Al Heyman is going through, some personal matters, and he's with his family right now. And he's been with his family for like the past 5 to 6 months. So not sure what's going on, but based off of what you've seen and based off that information, given, Floyd's, his words, I wouldn't say he's lying, right? But it may be a possibility that can be true.
Yeah. We haven't heard much from Bob Arum. I know Bob Arum tries to do deals with the Saudis, but Top Rank got some weird stuff going on too with them Thursday fights, man. Them joints is garbage, bro. Garbage. So it's like this. I know the Saudis right now are putting a lot of pressure on the boxing world, and DAZN seems to be in good with them. The one thing I'll say though, the Saturday cards where the main event is at like 5 p.m. So the cards have been on from like 1 or like 2.
Yeah.
It's too early. I mean, generally, I think boxing is too late. I hate the main events being at midnight, after midnight, but 1 p.m., 2 p.m. on a Saturday is just too early. So if we could find some niche there, obviously the time zones is why it has to happen, but not to ramble about that. Back to the card. It's an amazing card. Bud Crawford makes his debut at 154 for a well-deserved title shot.
Yeah.
But Pitbull and Rayo, I think that'll be a good one. I don't know if it'll be the fireworks. Pitbull and Rolly was one-sided fireworks. I expected it to be more fireworks, but Rayo's a little more strategic than Rolly. Rayo can punch, but obviously, I think once he feels the pressure of Pitbull, he's going to try to do some different things, right? He's not going to just keep doing the same thing. So that's a very interesting fight. In my words in a previous video, Pitbull's the best undercard in boxing.
Yeah, Pitbull 100%, and then he seems to be getting better and better each time he steps in that ring and show why he is Pitbull.
Yeah.
Rayo's coming off a fantastic KO, against Chris Colbert, and that would be an interesting fight. And when the time comes, we'll probably discuss exactly who we favor.
Is it taking place at 140 or 135? Do you know?
I think it's taking place at 140.
Okay.
It's taking place at 140. Yes, at 140. I think Rayo's actually moving up. So it's going to be taking place at 140. But I have a question for you. What fight on that card are you anticipating the most? Are you looking forward to? I think you have the same answer as mine.
It's not even close. If Virgil Ortiz and Tszyu on that card, It's not even close,
I
bro.
I agree. So I guess what is your first? What was your thoughts when you first heard that and that it was going to be on that? It was going to be on the undercard, and how do you see? Not necessarily without giving me a prediction of who but what makes more sense in terms of who should probably win or what would
Okay.
make more sense.
Yeah, when I first heard it, I'm like, these guys are crazy because that's a main event fight in its own. But like I said, us getting a stacked card is all the better for us. But one thing I thought though was, what's happening with Fundora, because we heard Fundora was suspended, but I thought we heard allegedly Tim Tszyu may have been suspended too, like, for health reasons.
Mhm.
Obviously we seen Tim Tszyu bloody Fundora's nose, and it's allegedly broken. So
Right.
is that like a tougher recovery than just getting the stitches that Tim Tszyu probably required to fix his cut? But what I really think Tim Tszyu should have gotten is the Fundora rematch, but maybe that's pushed out. We see that Tim Tszyu likes to stay active, so maybe Tim Tszyu, this is as a matter of fact, I think it's a title eliminator.
Yes, it is.
So
Apologies. Yep.
would
Yeah. The
would
winner
that
faces Bud Crawford, right, and Israel.
okay? So that will give him a title shot, and then I guess he would hopefully then unify with Fundora to try to regain his title and the vacant title that he lost. But easily that's what I'm anticipating the most on that card, because like for Bud Crawford, I want to see how he looks at 154, but that's one-sided anticipation. I want to see both of these guys in Tim Tszyu and Virgil Ortiz. And to answer your second half of your question, the way I think the fight goes is they're both big punchers, but
Mhm.
one guy has a little better big fight experience. He's a little more elusive, and I think his precision and timing is a little better.
Okay. Okay.
But is he the bigger puncher of the two? I can't necessarily tell because he's fought better competition, but he doesn't have a perfect knockout ratio, right? So obviously, Tim Tszyu, in my opinion, has fought better competition, but he doesn't have the perfect KO ratio like Virgil Ortiz does, coming off of a first round knockout of Thomas Delorme. You
Gotcha.
know what I mean? But man, even in a loss, I thought the Fundora fight should have been stopped. Man, his timing and how quickly he figured out someone like a Fundora, who we said is going to be so tricky. And that's not to say it couldn't have still happened, but how quickly he figured out Fundora's timing and it looked like he was on his way to stopping him
Stopping them. Yeah. Yeah.
pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
Man, Tim Tszyu is good. Tim Tszyu is good, but this might be the weight where Virgil feels strong. He doesn't seem to be having those health issues he was having at 147.
Yep.
It's gonna be fireworks, man. They're gonna meet in the center of the ring. I think it's gonna be fireworks.
Fireworks, man. And this is the fight. It's kind of interesting, right? Because we kind of anticipated Virgil wasn't having these health issues. He was anticipating fireworks between him and Stanionis. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. But now we probably may get that with, Tim Tszyu. I do wonder though, the health issues he's had, whether it's damaged him to a degree where it's still going to impact him at 154 pounds, or if he's going to come in revitalized, right? Because like you mentioned, although Tim Tszyu has the experience, Virgil Ortiz, I was used to be big on Virgil Ortiz, coming and stopping everyone, and we've talked about this, and we both was in agreement, and you was actually kind of pushing for it that, it should be Jerron Boots Ennis fighting Virgil Ortiz. These are the two young lions moving up the ranks, so I agree with you. I think that's the fight that I'm anticipating the most. And quite honestly, of course, I would want Tim Tszyu to win because I think it's just better for boxing in general. And I think, in all fairness, that situation with him and Fundora, I think he deserves that rematch, just given how the last fight ended. But ultimately, of course, that's not my decision, and we have to wait and see. So,
and it's really setting things up, right? Because if allegedly, let's say Tim Tszyu wins, right? Let's say Tim Tszyu goes on to beat Virgil Ortiz. Let's say Terrence Crawford goes on to win his fight, and then they line up and they fight for the WBO belt. Fundora will probably by then be coming off of his health suspension, holding 2 titles. Allegedly, Errol Spence is going to fight. His name slipped my mind, but he just won the IBF. So that's allegedly, because the other allegations are that Errol Spence is retired. But I don't think he's retired. It's just obviously a lot going on with the legal battle. The one thing I would say though is I saw a video recently of him going to go see someone who has like stage 3 cancer, and they're a big fan of his. He stopped by their home just to, go see that person. Excuse me. You can't really tell, but I seen him move around a little bit. His arms is probably about the extent of what you can see. You can't really judge someone's weight based on their arms, but overall, he didn't look that heavy.
Okay.
He didn't look that heavy. Then the night that he got in the ring with Fundora, he looked, a lot of people were saying, damn, he looks out of shape. But I almost think he was doing the Devin Haney, where you wear very big, baggy clothes and you can't really gauge what's under the clothes, pause. You know what I mean? So I don't really know where his fight weight is at, is what I'm trying to get to. Like, I don't know if he's been staying in shape. I don't know if he's out of shape. I have no idea what's happening, but I know he's clearly not trying to expose his body, whether that's to make people sleep on him, or if it's for real reasons that he's not in shape. I don't know, but I know he's, trying to stay out of the public eye. So who knows? Maybe he is ready to go soon, or maybe he's going to get a fight date soon. Yeah. And let's say if he wins, then you would have him as a champion, Crawford as a champion, Fundora as a champion. Obviously, Tszyu looking to foil that for Crawford, but I don't know. Are they gonna? I know a lot of people don't want to see that, but are they gonna build that back up as the money fight? Because I kind of suspect both of those guys still want it, because I do think they're getting to the point where I think they both realize they're not going to get the Canelo fight. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. And they may be trying to figure out what is that big payday they're going to get outside of Canelo. And they might just say, hey, it's just each other again.
Yeah. Yeah. And that probably its own, as you explained, I think that makes the most sense in terms of crash coursing and making as much money as possible. Just a rematch in that sense. And it kind of brings back kind of the major rematches we've seen of the old, right? Where we have legends fighting each other down the line, and it's going to be at a different weight class, right? And they've already kind of took their own versions of tune-ups in a sense. So, I think that makes the most sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about that recently. I'm like, I don't think those guys are going to get the Canelo fight, but I think, I think Bud is, I think he's expressed he's only looking for big paydays. I think Errol Spence is looking for a big payday as well. I don't know how much longer he has. I really don't know, but I do think they're both looking for that big payday, and I think they both kind of see it's not going to be Canelo. So where else can we make the big money? They're throwing around. I've heard them throw around like Crawford versus Benavidez. I don't really want to see that fight. No. I really don't want to see that fight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's kind of unnecessary. But they may kind of get to a point where and I would believe Terrence when Terrence said he's not interested in a rematch, right? But he might say, "Damn, where can I get the money I'm looking for?" And it might just be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially if he's trying to be undisputed at 154 as well.
And for his standpoint, for his standpoint, he's probably just like, a la Kobe Bryant, easy money. You know what I'm saying? in his head, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but overall, the card sounds great. I would be interested to hear the numbers that these Saudi cards do. I'm not sure we'll ever get that, but I would be interested to hear the numbers, because as stacked as this card sounds, I don't think it would have done more numbers than whatever that card did with Joshua and Wilder on it, with Wilder being the co-main and Joshua being the main, just because those names are so heavy, particularly Joshua. So even though this is a better card, but that one had B-Vol on it too. But Joshua's such a big name, I think that card would have did more numbers. But this, from a fan perspective, is a better card.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, the only other thing they could have done is say, "F it, B-Vol, Beterbiev, get on the card."
Oh my God, that'd have been overkill. That'd have been, I don't think anything will get close to that. That's a fact.
Yeah, and that fight is coming up, I think, June 1st.
Yeah, in June.
Yeah. Can't wait for that. Yeah, I'm not sure if we missed anything there. If anything you want to circle back on when it comes in regards to the card.
Oh no, nothing on my end. I think as we get closer to the date as well, we'll probably revisit this card again, or just revisit certain fights within that card. Yeah, I think that's that's probably what's going to end up happening.
Okay. Yeah, so amazing card coming up. I know you guys looking forward to it. feel free to tell us the favorites in the comment section. But overall, just tell us, is this the most stacked card that you've seen in a long time? Especially some of our boxing historians who watch the channel. You guys have probably seen some cards long before we were really, really in tune. If there's been some classic cards, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. Make sure you like, subscribe. 2 cents short of $1. We out.